Voting is one of the most important ways you can participate in the political process as a United States citizen. However, I've heard far too often of people having no clue what to say when I asked why they chose who they voted for. I believe that's a problem that needs to be addressed. Just like you, I'm an average American citizen who has been told they have a civil responsibility to vote. And just like myself, I'm sure you've heard of far too many people complain about those darn Democratic liberals or those darn conservative Republicans. I'm not here to convince you to vote for anybody. I'm only here to give you a couple reasons to put aside whatever you've heard from left or right or red and blue, to ask you to do some of your own digging, to see which vote is best for you and what you believe in. If you trust every piece of information you receive and neglect doing your own research, you might be very susceptible to misinformation or lack of information altogether. If you listen to the first thing that always popped up on your feed, you might only be hearing one side of the argument. This is because of recommendation systems, as stated by Chi-Chien Wang, where he mentions that recommendation systems are where recommendation systems group users based on their shared interests and then promote the same type of content to all users within each group. That doesn't sound like much of a problem until you think about it really, because it limits you to whatever algorithm feels that you might want to see. And that means that you might miss out on an opportunity to be presented with some valuable information, which might affect your vote. Another reason is checking your sources. In fact, checking all the sources. See as many sides as you can. One of the biggest examples is CNN. If you only ever look at CNN and not any other news groups, you might hear something like a Trump quote that states, "I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and wouldn't lose any voters." That's a problem because it's obviously very one-sided. If you only ever have this news source and never check any other sources, then you'll never know if that's true or not. You'll never know if he really said it, and you'll only ever have a negative depiction of President Trump. But this is also true for the other side. An opposing viewer of Joe Biden stated that Joe Biden's choice of deeply radical Kamala Harris is an awful vice president pick. This might be said from a news reporter that you really trust your information from. And this is a problem because you might not know anything about Kamala Harris. You might not know anything about Joe Biden. But if you hear this and you trust this source, that's a big problem because, well, now the only depiction you have of Joe Biden or Kamala Harris is a negative one. And the last reason for you to do your own research is because it'd be super easy this year. This year, the candidates are obviously Donald Trump and Joe Biden, which are only two of many candidates, but we'll just focus on them for our example. Donald Trump has had a 4-year presidency and an extensive business and even a reality show, but he has a large business reputation. If you do a little bit of Googling, you can see a lot of events that Trump has participated in and a lot of actions that he's taken as president. Now, you don't have to take anybody else's word for it. You can see what he's actually done and see how that might affect your vote. Same thing goes for Joe Biden. He had a long-term senator, one of the longest terms of senator for Delaware. And he was vice president for Barack Obama for 8 years. Now, just like Donald Trump, you can see what exactly he's done and what he's advocated for and what he worked to change. So you don't have to take anybody's word for it. You can just see what he's done yourself, and maybe that'll affect your vote. In conclusion, I am no political knowledge guru, but I hope you walk away from me today with some type of inspiration to really think about who you vote for and why you will vote for them when you get the opportunity. If everyone voted without taking time to think about it, we might as well raffle the presidency to any random Joe willing to sign up.